3, 4.
Across a drifting ship, I took a look inside. I found a note that someone wrote that said, take her for a ride. I set a course for sights unseen and out to open sea. To my surprise, a bunch of sailors joined along with me. Now we're sailing on a mystery ship, and all the sailors here are really here. There isn't any cost of membership. All that you gotta do is join our trip. Yeah, I'm the captain of the mystery ship, and I'm a-calling all aboard this trip. I'm really hoping that you'll enjoy it up on the mystery ship. So bring a friend and come along with us aboard the mystery ship. Ring ding 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 ding.
How the hell are we doing out there, people? It is your brother Zoe. It is your brother Zoe. I got to say a quick thank you, because some people are just absolutely freaking killing it. They are killing it over there in Lemonland. Thank you. You wonderful, wonderful folks. The show hasn't even started. I haven't even said hello. I haven't even put myself on the screen. And look at them. Look at them. Thank you. Gloria, my goodness. What can I say? Jayla, hope everything is wonderful in your world. Zoot, you know you allure. Zoot Allures, of course, is a famous Frank Zappa album. But good to see you, Kate. Always, always. And good to see everyone hanging out over there with the this month's champions. They are basking in their glory for another week until we get to a week from tonight, folks. A week from tonight, we will have the Interplatform Challenge. Put up your dukes, bring your noggin, and we are going to do battle. Mano a mano, well, cerebro a cerebro. We will, brain versus brain, we will do it. Let's just make a quick round to make sure we're live everywhere we're supposed to be. We are live at DLive. We are definitely live at Pilled Foxhole, the home of free speech in America. We are live at Rumble. We are live at Rumble. That is wonderful. I like it. We're live at Rumble, and there's somebody watching. So, Joe Elaine, look at you. Look at you checking in over there. Let's see what's going on over here at the mystery ship. Yes, Lone Uke, Archie's Ghost. What is going on, Ghost? Well, let's fix that little thing right now. You need to turn blue. I got to push you up a little bit past that. Hey, Archie. Okay, there you go. Now I can, what is going on? That silly little heart thing on the side is preventing me from turning you blue until there's a few more sentences spoken. But rest assured, Archie, I will get you. Like a Canadian Mountie, I will get you. Good to see you. Good to have you aboard. Okay, there he is. Thank you. You've done it. Uke, you're a hero. Uke, you are my hero. Add as moderator. There we go. Now, Archie will be tangled up in blue from here to eternity. From here to eternity. Okay, so Pilled, check. Rumble, check. YouTube, check. Twitch, what is going on with Twitch? Are we twitching that itch? Maddie F&B. Maddie F&B, what are you doing? It's good to see you. According to what I can see, Rumble is working. I'm hoping it's working. Yeah, it's up and running. It is up and running. I think. Is it not? Hang on just a second. Let's go back to Rumble. Let's go right back to the home of Rumble. And go to My Content. And go to Our History is a Mystery. Is Rumble not operating? Is it just doing the intro over and over again? Oh, for goodness sakes. I wonder if I can do the wax on, wax off. Wax on, we're having trouble streaming to one of your destinations. The stream was ended or deleted at that destination? Okay, let's see. All right, I'm going to try to, there it is. I'm going to try to turn off Rumble. I'm going to try to lose it and then turn it back on. That's normally how you fix things around here. Wax on, wax off. Okay, give it 5 seconds, and let's add Rumble. Okay. Save changes. We'll see. We'll see. It says that it's working now, so I'll just keep my eyes on it. Keep my eye on it. We'll see what happens. Rumble, my fingers are crossed for you. Oh, well, hey, 4 out of 5 ain't bad. 4 out of 5, I'll take those odds in Vegas all day long. All day long. How are you doing out there, people? I hope you are having a wonderful day, a wonderful evening. It is getting late. It is getting late. Those of you on the East Coast, I certainly appreciate you joining me this time of night. It is every bit of 10 o'clock where you are. Wow. I believe that I have cooked up a rather interesting show for tonight. The title of tonight's program is Our History is Still a Mystery. And folks, it could never be more true than it is now. The more I explore, I've always been fascinated by history. Always. From the time I was a little kid, I got A's in 3 subjects. History, mathematics. Did I say history? No, there was one more that I'm sorry. English, American English. Those were my 3 strong subjects. I was fascinated by them. I loved them. They came easy to me. Wasn't that crazy about science, although my curiosity was piqued, but wasn't just fascinated with it like I was history. I don't care if it was ancient history, American history. History turns me on. And the old saying, those who don't study their history are doomed to repeat it. Well, it's my belief that something funny's been going on around here. Something funny's been going on around here. And I'll get into that. I will get into that. It's going to be, I think, a very enlightening program. There's some really weird stuff out there. When you stop and think about it, there is some really, really weird, unexplained stuff out there. Don't you find that fascinating? I am astounded. Every night I learn more. Every day I learn more. I will probably learn until my last breath. Let's hope that that's a long time from now, because I'm really enjoying. I finally got to the point of my life where I'm really enjoying myself. I'm having a good time. Do you know what I did today? I picked up Peggy from the Harley-Davidson dealership. Yep, she's right outside. Libby is doing fine. Libby is fit as a fiddle. But Peggy is right outside the door. I am thinking I might even ride her to work tomorrow. From the moment I had Peggy, from the moment I got her, there was something funny with the shift linkage. I could never really put my foot on it. It just had there was a little slop between first and second. It never went into neutral easily. And it drove me crazy. And Peggy just clicked over 80,000 miles. Amazingly, Peggy and my Lincoln Continental have the exact same mileage. Crazy. One of them's 20 years old, one of them's 50 years old. Man, I've got to get rid of this chair. This squeaky sumbitch is driving me nuts. How are we doing out there, people? Good to see all of you. That there is so-so. I can tell because his face sure rings a bell. Starface is enjoying the humor of his joke. A few weeks ago, I showed up for my show with a great big scar over the front of my nose because this thing is held in by a 2x4 and bolted in. And, man, I came in here and I whacked my face into the bell. Can't place his name, but his face rings a bell. Well, all right. Because of that, I'm going to say hello to told Foxhole first. Thank you, Starface, for making me chuckle. I hope I don't do that again anytime soon. I really don't. Girl Patriot, I think, was the first one in the door. Great to see you tonight. Val Hall is with us. What is up, darling? Good to see your smiling face. Zoomer, M1911 Zoom in the house. Joelaine, of course, is here with us. How are you doing, little lady? Trick Pony in the house. Pony Girl's with us. Double D, due diligence. I'm going to have a grog on you, buddy. I am grogging it right now. Grogging all the way. Boy. Who else we got in here? Who else we got hanging out over here? Because there's a whole bunch of them. There's a whole damn bunch of them. I saw Starface in the house. Let's see. Well, the Texan, my dear brother, the Texan is with us. Good to see you, buddy. Good to have you aboard. This is going to be an interesting one. This really is going to be an interesting show. I hope I pique your curiosity. Lieutenant Cooker is with us. Always a pleasure to see your smiling face. Oh, shit, I said that one extremely wrong. You never say anything wrong, Double D. Never. Good to have you aboard. Welcome, my friends. Let's see who's hanging out at YouTube. Yes, we got Dragon Sage in the house. Lone Yukon is with us. Archie's Ghost in the house. Very good. Wonderful to have you guys aboard. Don't hurt anybody. Dragon Sage says, Zoe has a car that's almost as old as I am. Almost is the operative word. Okay, did we end up sorting out our Rumble problems? No. Looks like Rumble just didn't make it tonight. Rumble didn't make it tonight. Oh, well, I'm going to just get rid of it so it won't bother me. It won't bother me. What? Out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. Matty F&B, my dear brother, out of the Philly area. He sent me pictures today of a, he has sent us pictures. This man is a craftsman. I know for a fact second generation. He might be a third generation coppersmith. His dad showed him the ropes. This guy makes stuff out of copper that would blow your mind, but his specialty is rooftops. And I'm talking peaks like this, okay, where you're just kind of leaning against him, you know. That's his bag. And he sent me some pictures today. I didn't see any safety harnesses or anything. You said there was some kind of dicey stuff going on. I'm inclined to believe you. All I can tell you is, brother, it sure looked like a long way down. A long way down. Be careful up there, man. Be careful up there. But amazing work, as always. Amazing freaking work. First, he sends me a close-up of himself. Then he shows me a giant picture of the house, and he's this little speck up at the top. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Let's check in with the fine folks, the champions. Yes, the champions are here. Gloria Paddock in the house. T.L. Spud is here. Val Kimber is with us. Lieutenant Cooker on board. Jayla 17. Dandy 002. He says you're grogging there too. Good for you. Good for you, Dan. Dan the man. Good to have some grog with some friends. Arrgh. Hey, matey. Bad Zoot in the house. Lynn Winters is with us. Artist 61. Elfida. Wow. That's what gives you a hernia, Zoe? That squeaky chair? Wait a minute. Sorry to hear that, Val. What happened to Val? She was having it a bit rough today. Oh, I see. I've got the story. Folks, you know that we are always praying for our friends and relatives. Sounds like Val Kimber's mom needs some extended prayers from the sailors. Would you please keep Val's mom right up front. Number one, when you're talking to the man upstairs, little extra never hurts. I hope she's doing better, Val. I really hope she makes a turn. It can be tough. It can be tough. Artist 61, always a good time when you are with us. She sent me a wonderful picture of myself sitting in her driveway on my motorcycle. You know what drives me nuts? I've done this a couple of times. I visit people, I hang out with them, and somehow, some way, I'm either having such a good time or I'm so caught up in the excitement. In this case, I'm referring to Artist 61. I think it might have been the Fireflies, but somehow I got out of there without a picture of myself and Artist 61. It just means there needs to be a return trip. I'll have to run through there again. Folks, tonight, your brother Zoe is going to take you on an adventure all over the world. Seriously, all over the world. There has been some funny stuff going on in the history of this planet, and by God, I don't claim to know the answer, but I sure do like to pose a lot of questions. And question it we will. We're going to look at some really ridiculous stuff. And some really cool stuff. I love looking at the cool stuff. Don't you? This show will really, truly get underway momentarily right after this little video. So this is your chance, folks. This is your chance. If you're enjoying a grog, this is your chance to fill it up again, top it off, maybe get a little bit more ice. Give me a glass full of tinkle. Take the dog out, maybe. Go refresh yourself in whatever fashion you feel refreshed. But let's meet back here in like 2 minutes and some change, because your brother Zoe is going to blow your mind this evening. Your brother Zoe is going to blow your mind this evening. That's a promise. That's not just a fact. It's a promise, and I look forward to doing it while you're here with us. Let's get her done. Why do we sail upon the mystery ship? 'Cause we never know where we'll go next. what really bugs me is that song was intended to be just an instrumental. That's all it was intended to be. And I was digging around deep in the boxes of my storage unit, and I found some old tapes. And when I found somebody who could actually transfer them to modern electronics, like on a zip drive, first time I'd heard those in 43 years, I was disappointed to find out the only take I had on that was one with somebody's vocal on it. It was never intended to be a song that you sing to. It was supposed to be an instrumental. Anyway, folks, this is the time that I take to thank each and every one of you. Number one, for showing up and hanging out. I'm so glad that you're here. It makes me happy to have you with us. It really, really does. All these smiling faces. What a great crowd we hang with. We hang out with a freaking cool crowd. There's no question about it. Second of all, I want to thank the wonderful people who support this program in whatever way they can, whether it's throwing some lemons at me, some ice cream cones, the wonderful Gold Pill faction over there. They're up to no good tonight. I could see it already. Thank you very much for what you're doing. But the biggest way that you could help this fledgling little show, this little 3-year-old show, would be to just tell a friend. Tell somebody out there that there's this crazy biker dude, and you ought to be watching him because you never know what he's going to talk about. That's why he has this show called The Mystery Ship. You never know what the heck he's going to talk about. What was that noise? What was that noise? That was weird. That was really weird. I'm out here in the corner of my garage, in case you wondered. So tonight, folks, we are looking at history. And when I say history, I'm using that term very loosely, okay? Because I am a man of conviction, okay? I am a Christian. I don't like to... I love to debate. Oh, I love to debate. I was captain of the debate team in school. But, there's certain things, you just shouldn't try and argue with some people, especially if they are perhaps closed-minded or just absolutely not willing to even listen to the slightest thing that you have to say. One of the things I love about our crowd here is they're open-minded. And I have learned so much from this crew, all of these people aboard this vessel. You guys blow me away. You really do. And I hope I always stay open-minded because I don't claim to know. Nobody will ever know it all. I was really excited. A couple of weeks ago, I watched my friend's program, quite frankly, my brother Frank, and he had a woman on who she had a near-death experience. She had passed on, and she spent a good deal of time on the other side, and she spoke to the great I Am. And she said, for a small period of time, although she can't remember any of it now, she knows that when she was on the other side, she knew all things. She said all the colors were like 10 times more vibrant. There's so many more colors than these little peepers are able to pick up in this dimension. And that she said that her knowledge was just expanded. She knew all of the answers to life. But when she came back, of course, it was all taken back away from her. But she said she knew that she knew it. And once she got back on this side, she was visited once again by the great I Am. I think it's amazing. I would love an opportunity like that. I would just absolutely love an opportunity like that. There are so many unanswered questions that it drives me nuts not knowing the answers. And there are so many rabbit holes that I look at and I enjoy looking at, and I will never cease looking at, even though I know I will never get the answers. And tonight is one of them. That is mystery history, right? Our history remains our history remains a mystery. That is a fact. I have some inclinations. I can't prove them, but I feel very strongly that I'm right. Being a believer and someone who believes the words of the Holy Bible, I am comforted. I'm comforted when I read the words of Christ where he says, "This generation shall not pass away before these things have come to pass." So he told his disciples what was going to go down, how it was going to go down. He told them what signs to look for, signs in the sky, old men will dream dreams. You know all this. I'm preaching to the choir, right? But it's when he said, "This generation shall not pass away." Now, I am of the mind that by this generation, Christ was referring to human beings as we currently know them. All right, Homo sapiens. That's this current flavor of a living being known as man and woman and whatever. I personally think that it is impossible to believe that we have been the only generation walking on this planet. I am utterly convinced that there have been generations before us. Why do I say this? Well, if you look at the earth and all the studying and suppositions put out there by modern scientists, most people would agree that we know that there have been pole shifts, okay, on the planet, a rearranging of land masses. There is great evidence, for instance, that Antarctica, although it is now covered in ice, when they bore down deep into it, there's evidence that there used to be green trees and grassy valleys and all of that. So perhaps maybe on a previous pole shift, it was a warm and fuzzy place to be. I don't know. I wasn't there. I can only guess. But I really do feel that I don't know if the previous generations were killed off by something like a meteorite, something like the deluge, okay, the famous God opening up the skies and drowning everyone. I mean, I feel rather strongly that happened to this generation. I don't think that was an old one. I think something happened to the previous generations, such as maybe a meteor strike in the earth, or perhaps they blew themselves up. They got so smart for their own good that they wiped their own selves out. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just guessing, but I just have this gut feeling because when you look around the globe, for me, I mean, the easiest thing for me to point to is things like the Grand Canyon or the Great Pyramids of Giza, okay? Because it looks, if you take a look at these items, particularly the Sphinx, it looks as though there is water erosion on the Sphinx. And if you ask me, it's kind of like what happened to the Grand Canyon. It wasn't like 100 years of water splashing against it. I think it was more like 100,000 or 200,000 years of water splashing against it. I don't know. I don't know. But one thing I do know is that when I listen to these scientists and people pontificating on, they're so overly positive about they know exactly what happened. I saw a guy the other day, very knowledgeable, and when he speaks to you, when this man speaks to you, he speaks like he wrote the book. Okay, I mean, this guy was just so he was tearing apart flat earthers. I guess it was a live show. I was watching this guy. He was live, and he had a chat going on, and he would read the questions that they were asking, and then he would snap back. And I just find it rude to chew on the people watching your show. I mean, come on. They're there for you, and you're going to tell them that's a stupid question, that's ridiculous, one of the questions asked of this man, and I wish I had his name. I wish I could find the video, but it would take me way too long to find it. They asked him about the red Kachina. Okay? Now, some people might call that Planet X. You can call it whatever you want. I know that our Lord and Savior said, you will see signs in the sky. Now, there's this woman that I've found on YouTube, and she posts the most fascinating videos. She's one of dozens and dozens, perhaps hundreds of people doing the same thing. There are people who, I guess they have just an abundance of free time on their hand, and they do things like they go all around the globe, from the North Pole to Canada to Alaska to the South Pole, and they look at the cameras that are aimed to the north and to the south and to the east and to the west, and they watch the skies. And this one woman I came across, I mean, she's one of many, as I said, one of many, many, many people doing this. She had some really, impressive video showing that when the chemtrails disappear, if it's a day where the wind has taken the chemtrails the hell in the wrong direction, and there's a clear sky, you can clearly see that there is some hanky-panky going up there. Now, I can't prove this. I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there. I'm simply throwing this out there. I've seen a patent. I've seen a patent for something called a sun simulator. Now, how they would make this thing magically float in the sky, I don't know. I don't know if it's on weather balloons or if it's jet propulsion or if it's got some kind of solar battery-powered way of staying up there. To me, I always believed that what goes up must come down. That's one thing I always believed. But her video was very convincing. You could see the sun going across the horizon in the background. And in front of that sun was some other kind of, I don't know what else to call it other than a sun simulator. Okay? Something else that looked like it was super bright in the sky, resembling a sun. Resembling a freaking sun. Now, when you take that man-made light source and you mix in a bunch of chemtrails and you literally haze out the sky so you can't even see the freaking puffy white clouds that God made, you can hide a lot of stuff. But this woman did her homework. She scanned and looked. I mean, she had constantly viewing cameras from Australia to, like I said, Alaska, to cameras everywhere. She showed some very impressive planets right here in our sky, bigger than a fat boy's butt. One planet in particular had more craters than our moon, and it's in very, very close proximity to this Earth. I don't know. I mean, she is a devout Christian. I don't think she didn't come across as like extraordinarily computer savvy. I know that there are people out there with Photoshop and all these nifty ways of faking stuff. This woman comes across as very, very genuine. And her entire shtick, the entire appeal of her channel is she just kept saying, folks, Christ said, look to the skies. You will see signs in the sky. And she showed videos of planets that are a little bit hard to argue. And right here, I mean, so close you could reach out and touch them. But with things like sun simulators and tons of haze in the sky, is it possible that they have some kind of cloaking device up there so that we can't see them? It's who am I? No, maybe. That's all I can say is maybe, may freaking be. So I mean, you got things like that out there, all right. But when you look at things like the architecture around the planet, and there are old-time photographs of places in Russia, places in Europe, former buildings here in the United States that are no longer standing. They took them all down. But places with tremendous spires. I mean, spires that we couldn't build these buildings today with all of our supposed technology and know-how, and we couldn't do this stuff today. We couldn't build St. Peter's Basilica. It would take a month of Sundays. I think that the history behind these things, what we are told is horse hockey. I think it's a bunch of crap. I really do. The buildings that were built for things like the World's Fair they're just mind-boggling. And then they just tear them down. We don't need them anymore. World's Fair's over. Tear them down. When you look at, say, the Great Pyramid, okay? It is on a line that goes around the entire Earth. And it appears that there are a number of ancient sites that also happen to be on these ley lines that would suggest that perhaps at some time this series of pyramids around the globe might have been some kind of power source for a very, well, intelligent civilization. Somebody light years ahead of what we have learned. And believe me, our scientists and stuff, boy, they think they are the smartest guys that ever came down the pike, right? It's incredible. It's incredible to listen to some of these guys pontificate. They think they know so much. But when you stop for a second and consider some of the landmarks on our globe, and you stop for a second and you wonder, how could that be? How could this be? I'll give you a case in point. Okay? I'm gonna give you a case in point right now. Has anyone heard of a place in China? It's called Mount Kailash. Kind of like eyelash, but it's Kailash. Kailash. Now, Kailash is in the Tibetan Plateau. It has an elevation of 6,638 feet. It is like the biggest freaking, it's like China's Matterhorn. It is just this pointy, gigantic, snow-covered peak that just sticks out like a sore thumb. But it sure looks triangular like a pyramid. You're asking me, are you sure, Zoe? Well, listen, you want to look at it? You want to look at it? Let me take you to China, to the Tibetan Plateau, and let me have you look at this thing called Mount Kailash. Do you see it? Let me share something about good old Mount Kailash that I'll bet you didn't know. I'll bet you didn't know this. So, with an elevation of 6,638 feet, this is Mount Kailash. It is in the Tibetan Plateau of China. It is exactly 6,666 kilometers from Mount Kailash to the North Pole. It is also exactly 6,666 kilometers from Mount Kailash to Stonehenge. Strangely enough, it is also exactly 6,666 kilometers from the Egyptian pyramids to the North Pole. How about this one? It is also 6,666 kilometers from Stonehenge to the Devil's Tower in Wyoming. Not enough for you? It's also 6,666 kilometers from Stonehenge to the Bermuda Triangle. Strangely enough, it's 6,666 kilometers from the Bermuda Triangle to Easter Island. And lastly, it is exactly 6,666 kilometers from Easter Island to Tazumal. Now, if you're not familiar with Tazumal, Tazumal is in, I believe it's Peru. Where are my notes? It's in South America. Tazumal, I believe it is in Peru. What did I do with my note on Tazumal? I had it. Oh, for God's sakes, I sent it to myself. I sent it to myself in an email. Okay, so what are the odds? What are the odds that, 7 of those places just now, some of them very famous places, the North Pole, Stonehenge, the Egyptian pyramids, the Devil's Tower, the Bermuda Triangle, Easter Island, Mount Kailash, Tazumal in South America. How could it be that these places are exactly 6,666 kilometers apart? Doesn't that make you raise an eyebrow? Doesn't it make you at least say, Now, like many of you, you've looked at I'm sure you've looked at Machu Picchu, and of course the Egyptian pyramids, and you've looked at the enormous stones that were carved and placed. When you go to Egypt, it's the funniest thing. It is the funniest thing. They have these ancient tools. It looks like kind of an upside down pear. An upside down pear, a rather large one, like a Bartlett pear, on a wooden handle, and then you have a little stone chisel. And they show guys beating on these things as if they're shaping these stones, and they try to get you to believe that the pyramids were built by slaves in this current generation. And I'm sorry, I just have a hard time believing that one. Do I have any proof to the contrary? No, and I wasn't there, but it just doesn't add. It just doesn't freaking add up. Okay? It would have taken them. How did they move those stones 500 miles through the desert weighing the tonnage that they did? It's all horseshit, as far as I'm concerned. We continually get taught horseshit time after time after time. And although there's, all the famous places that all the commentators are talking about, Göbekli Tepe and Machu Picchu and all of these wonderful places to go and visit, archaeological sites that have been dug up. We are continually finding more and more wonders that just defy any kind of logical history. You can explain some shit away, but there's stuff that you just can't. You're not going to convince me. You're not going to convince me that we, in this generation, we are the ones who built the pyramids, who built Machu Picchu, who built any of the famous freaking sites around the world. It's my gut tells me that these things were done so long ago that, anyway, let me share some interesting video with you regarding a pre-flood civilization. There is an island. There is an island which is, I believe, part of Syria in the Mediterranean. Yes. There's an island. It's called Ruan Island in the Mediterranean. This island has giant monolithic blocks all the way around it. Now, they've since been torn down, okay? There are only a handful of places around this island where these blocks remain, but to call them blocks is an insult. These are giant squares, perfectly made squares of stone. Here, let's just watch the video. Wouldn't that be easier? Let's watch the freaking video. I got my volume on. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Rued Island holds an astonishing ancient secret.
Rued.
Located within the Mediterranean, it is the only inhabited island within Syria, and we believe was once an awe-inspiring fortress. Having once been protected on all sides, although very little of the wall remains, what is still in existence demonstrates an incredible past civilization's prowess. Like with so many other ancient sites around the world, it was constructed using enormous megalithic blocks, once somehow masterfully placed atop one another. It is unknown whether...
I just have to point this out again. Look at those men. Look at those men standing right there, and look at the size of these freaking blocks, okay? There wasn't any crane. There wasn't any 500-ton crane that picked and put these sons of bitches here. It didn't happen.
Megalithic blocks, once somehow masterfully placed atop one another.
Oh, shit.
It is
Oh,
unknown
shit.
whether this wall was created from fear of the sea.
I'm sorry, people. Thank you. I'm so glad I look and read at the chat every now and then. Lone Uke is going, Zoe, I can't see it, man. I can't see it, dude. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Okay. Thank you. Here we go. Ruad Island.
Organization's up to.
Ruad Island holds an astonishing ancient secret. Located within the Mediterranean, it is the only inhabited island within Syria, and we believe was once an awe-inspiring fortress. Having once been protected on all sides, although very little of the wall remains, what is still in existence demonstrates an incredible past civilization's prowess. Like with so many other ancient sites around the world,
All right, that's the image I was inferring. Look at the size of these men and look at the size of these freaking blocks. Thank you, Sheeple Beware. When these blocks weren't on the screen, he's going, imagine the size of those blocks.
it was constructed using enormous megalithic blocks, once somehow masterfully placed atop one another. It is unknown whether this wall was created from fear of the seas or possible invaders, but this gigantic wall once enclosed the island completely. Known to the Greeks as Arados, it was renamed Ruad or Aruad by the Templars during the Crusades. How did this ancient civilization complete such structures? There have been numerous individuals of late attempting to explain away many of these enormous megalithic walls and buildings, such as the temples within Baalbek, as mere Roman architecture. However, just like the academics they parrot, they conveniently have no logical idea as to how this was done.
Okay, so wait, we're going to stop here for a second. This freaking place is in Lebanon. Baalbek, B-A-A-L, like Baal, okay, the devil himself. Baalbek, B-A-A-L-B-E-K, in Lebanon. And if you thought that the blocks at Ruad were impressive, these freaking blocks make those look like Tinker Toys, okay? These blocks are, I want to use a colorful expletive here, but I'm trying to tone it down. These are just, it defies, I'm a builder, okay? I build great big stuff. That's what I do. I'm aware of all of our current practices, standards and practices, how we lift stuff, how we stand stuff up. This was not done. This was not done by anyone. This was not done by a bunch of ancient slaves, okay, with ropes and mules and all that shit. I don't think so.
Relying solely on modern drawings of these events rather than any form of demonstration. As we have mentioned on many occasions, it would be a logical strategy to not only adopt such awe-inspiring works of architecture as their own, but also to steal techniques these civilizations would have been capable of and claim them as their invention, such as Roman roads, Roman columns, etc. There are many buildings on our Earth that are, we agree, undoubtedly 2,000 years old. Not only are their constructions documented at length, but their condition also reflects this age. However, with ruins such as the Baalbek temples, and indeed the Wall of Ruad, their condition, along with the inexplicable nature of their construction, is not only indicative of lost knowledge, but subsequently evade current explanation. This reality persists no matter how hard some try to explain them away as more modern achievements. Yangshan Quarry, Gornea Shoria, the pregnant woman, the Colossi of Menman, the list goes on. All these ancient builds incorporate.
Look at the freaking size of that block, ladies and gentlemen.
Blocks well into the thousands of tons, with countless more lost to history. How these structures were built is a mystery. Yet, if they were indeed completed by our own more modern ancestors, why is this knowledge lost to the eons?
That is exactly my question. That is exactly my question. If this was done by people in this generation, Homo sapiens, why would we have lost this knowledge? Why wouldn't this be like the most sought after, taught in school, physicists, all those guys, they would act like it would be more valuable than gold or diamonds. All right? How to build stuff like this, which, folks, this is just what makes me think that there were civilizations before ours that somehow got wiped away off this planet. And I'm not suggesting, I am not in the slightest, am I suggesting aliens? No little green men in this story. I think that this knowledge was shared worldwide. I think that this is my gut feeling, okay? A group of people had this knowledge. They took this knowledge and they shared it amongst all of mankind alive on the earth at that time. There was no, I'm better than you, we need to be better than you. There wasn't that kind of mentality. It seems like their mentality was more like all for one, one for all. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because you can see similar constructions all over the freaking globe, varying just slightly. Slight variations of the same kind of technology from South America to freaking Japan, Egypt. It's literally all over the globe. It's all over the freaking globe. I'm gonna show you something here that's it's gonna blow your freaking doors off. It's gonna blow your doors off. This technology here. Let's look at this. Let's look at this right here. Okay, that's it. That's what I'm looking for.
Incredible. And
these stone structures I'm about to show you come from all over the world. All over the world. Okay? This is Japan right here. Look at the size of those freaking blocks and look how perfectly, how absolutely perfectly they fit together. They are freaking enormous. Look at the size of this man compared to one little block. They are finding this all over the globe, okay? Anybody who has built modern cabinets where you put tabletops together, okay? Underneath the tabletop, they have a keyway system just like this. And you tighten up a bolt which pulls these two pieces together and closes this gap right here. Imagine this globally. This technology was used all over the world. The people shared this technology. They shared it with one another. It wasn't my building's better than your building. This, again, this isn't, yes, Octopus Rock in Japan. Look at the size of this one stone. Look at the size of this freaking thing. This is also in Japan. Yes, Okinawa. Absolutely perfectly laid stones. You couldn't slip a matchbook in between these rocks, which is identical to what they say at like Machu Picchu, any of the giant monoliths out there, all seem to share the same technology. And I don't personally believe that there was like competition as we know it today. I think for some reason back in those days, man had evolved past my dog's better than your dog, my dog's better than yours. They didn't care. Man wanted to help each other. If all, let's just say for a second, let's say that we're maybe barking up the right tree, okay? Let's say there was a power grid on ley lines all around the earth, and many of the pyramids, the ones that are buried in the jungles now and all, what if they were receivers or transformers? What if the earth had a power grid at one time and everybody lived just like the John Lennon song? Imagine if everyone lived in peace. There wasn't any need for being better than someone else. It's so very, very different than our small-mindedness today. I want to show you a couple more amazing things. Okay, where's this? Off of the coast. Okay, right here. Right here. Now, I'm not suggesting for a minute that modern man doesn't know what they're doing, okay? I'm not suggesting that our scientists are all dummies or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I will say that about some of the like Neil deGrasse Tyson types who just are so full of themselves. It's laughable. But these are the global sea level fluctuations, okay? Over millions of years. At least this is how modern man envisions them. Is this correct? Who knows? None of us were there. So there isn't a single person who can corroborate this freaking graph, all right? But this is modern man's latest guess of sea levels over the last millions and millions of years, okay? If you choose to believe something like this, well, I'm not saying it's not possible. What I am saying is I think it would take certain cataclysms to cause sea levels to change so erratically, okay? It's not going to be the pollution from our automobiles, okay? If that was the problem and sea levels were going to rise, I promise you the Obamas would not have bought a house in the Hamptons. And, Al Gore telling us in 1990 that Manhattan was going to be 2 feet underwater by 2010. It's horseshit. But has the sea level risen? Or better yet, have there been either pole shifts or earthquakes or who knows? Who freaking knows? But has the world experienced different climates and different locations? Clearly. I mean, I think it's entirely possible. Egypt, as far as last time I looked, it looks like it's in the middle of the fucking desert, okay? It looks like a desert. They've got camels and shit out there, okay? But when you look at the face of the Sphinx and the body of the Sphinx, it sure looks like water was lapping up against that thing for, I don't know, 200,000 years. Could an ocean have gone through there? Who knows? Who freaking knows? But there are people, scholars, who believe that the pyramids were once coated in, like, I don't know, some kind of white glass with, hell, I don't know. I wasn't there. But I do know this. In 1990, off the coast of Cuba, scientists discovered in 700 meters of water, okay, 700 meters deep, they found a sunken city that they didn't know about. This is a mere 34 years ago. 34 years ago, we found this. We found this 34 years ago off the coast of Cuba. It is absolutely amazing. Look at the size of these statues. Again, look at the size of the blocks. "700 meters under the sea." Look at that. Perfect pyramids. Perfect pyramids all in a straight line. I wonder if they're on the same line as the Great Pyramid. See all the stairs? Look at the size of these freaking blocks. All perfectly preserved underwater. Okay, so this man right here, this scientist was trying to get people to believe when he examined the site. When this guy examined the site, he was trying to tell people that he didn't believe it was possible. He didn't think it was possible for tectonic plates to shift in a way that would submerge a city of that nature. I don't know how else to explain it. It wouldn't make sense to have a beautiful block-walled city underwater and have to go scuba diving down there to enjoy it. It just doesn't make sense to me. It seems to me, what would make sense to me is that might have been above water at some time. It's gorgeous. It's very well laid out. It's enormous. That city that they found under the water is freaking a Cuban underwater city Let's see. Sorry. Sonar images interpreted as being symmetrical and geometric stone structure resembling an urban complex between 600 meters and 750 meters under the sea. It was a marine engineer who found it. A woman, Pauline Zaltiski, is the one who found it. And they were owners of a Canadian company called Advanced Digital Communications. They were working on an exploration and a survey of the area off of Cuba when they came across this lost city. 1990 that was found. Imagine how many more cities like this are out there that we haven't found yet. Now, there's something else I want to show you that is just amazing. Well, while we're here, let's just enjoy a little bit more of this, because this is freaking mind-boggling. Look at what these guys found. What is that, a giant bathtub? Columns underwater. Enormous statues underwater. Look at this. Absolutely. Look how perfect those are. Those buildings are perfect. It's nuts. It's nuts. But what I really want to show you is a type of technology. There is a type of technology that we have found, that scientists have found, and they can't help. They can't help but notice that this type of technology was used around the globe. Now, in my line of work, I do a fair amount of concrete cutting. We use a variety of concrete cutting tools, from giant saws. Believe it or not, they make a chainsaw. They make a chainsaw with diamond blades. Looks just like the one you cut down your trees with, but we use it to cut concrete. A foot thick, 8 inches thick, whatever. We just saw right through the concrete, okay? And we think that we are just, the latest and greatest. We know it all. For big jobs, like when I have to saw through a concrete wall that is like a foot thick in diameter, and I have to just cut open like a new door opening, like something 8 feet wide and 8 feet tall, we bring in these enormous saws with 36-inch blades, and we bolt a track to the wall that the saw rides on, and these diamond-tipped saws perfectly, just when they are done, it looks like a laser just went. When this thing falls down, there's your door opening. You stick a door frame in there. You're off to the races. I just did it. I just did it at the Mercedes job that I remodeled. Okay, but there is a type of building that involves the hewing, H-E-W, the hewing of rock. Giant granite rock that people go in underground and they just clean up and dig out and make these underground temples. I'm just going to let the tape roll. I'm going to let the tape roll. You're going to see right now 4 places that show a similar type a similar type of workmanship. It varies slightly. The striations are maybe a little bit different. Some are curved in some part of the world, other parts they're straight, but the bottom line is they all accomplish the same thing. They can take a giant freaking rock and they can cut a door in it, and then you go in that side, and inside is a giant room that they have created out of solid rock. Perfectly Look for yourselves. Look for yourselves. I'm just going to get the hell out of the way on this one. I'm just going to let this roll and sit in awe the same way you are. This is, to me, this is mind-boggling. Absolutely freaking mind-boggling.
Feature. A pattern of scarring left upon their megalithic blocks and often upon their walls, once left by a technology built by an as yet not understood civilization. We've previously covered the perplexing technique often used by ancient wall builds, found all around the world in the form of mysterious metal clamps. Used to seat huge stone blocks as they settled over the following years, these clamps, dated to similar times within antiquity and varying in style from continent to continent, somehow turned up all over the world at around the same time, strongly suggesting some form of intercontinental travel and thus sharing of technologies. Furthermore, and perhaps more intriguing, are the links that we, here on the channel, along with others in alternative research, and even funded institutes from nations around the world, have begun to notice and hopefully triangulate a signature left by this once highly advanced group of individuals. The most noticeable of these sites, and the one which initially started us upon this journey, was Longyu Cave in China. A cave system hewn from solid bedrock, leaving no waste piles of stone anywhere, marking the stone with a telltale scar pattern. These parallel marks are not just found at Longyu. Similar yet not identical marks have also been found elsewhere on Earth. A slight variation in style is what one would expect with shared knowledge. As with the metal clamps, a slight variation can be found from continent to continent. These similar marks can also be found at the ancient quarry of Yangshan, China, and Petra in Jordan, both argued for years to actually be the workmanship of a civilization far older than any noted within modern academia. These marks were then discovered to be upon the ceiling of Cave 1 at the ancient site of Mamallapuram, within India. Another site which in places shows levels of erosion far in excess of that which should be seen, at a site dated within known history. Yet perhaps the most impressive of these marks, and most probably the ones made by the conceptual machine of origin, are the scars witnessed and now subsequently catalogued at Baalbek. These are far too large for any hand tool, made into solid granite with such precision. These also display circular motions, as if left by a modern-day tunnel boring machine. This evidence, undoubtedly unnoticed upon many more ancient sites, is clearly compelling evidence to support our channel's hypothesis that a mysterious history once occurred here on our planet, and will hopefully shed some light on the amazing people responsible for this phase of our past. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, take care.
So my buddy Dark Brain is right. I lifted a couple of these different videos from, there's a channel called Mystery History, and I get lost on there. They have so many topics over there, so many things that just pique my curiosity, but that's just one of about probably 15 channels that have similar type of questions as to a lot of the ones I watch are just it'll be a panel of 4 scholars, and all of them are calling bullshit on the history that we're being taught. And they just every one of these guys sits back and goes on saying we're just perfectly ridiculous to think that that our forefathers of some manner built this shit. Okay, it's beyond our ability. There was a man in Florida who built a place called the Coral Castle. I think he was from Prague or Sweden. I've studied him before. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he built this place out of the same thing, giant chunks, giant stones of coral. He built it for his wife, who died on him or ran away on him. I don't quite remember the story. It's not important to the thing. There was an eyewitness who said, apparently the guy did a lot of his work at night. And they said, the eyewitness said that they heard a strange humming sound and that they saw the blocks sort of levitating in the air, as if some kind of magnetic frequency was used to lift the blocks off of the ground. That, to me, makes perfect sense. I mean, if there's a technology that is lost, that is one that kind of rings true to me. That would explain the Egyptian pyramids. That would explain all of those gigantic freaking blocks that we saw. The one that still baffles me, though, the one that really gets me still and has me just scratching my head, are like the form-fitted blocks, the ones with curvatures in them, and then another perfectly curved stone fits right into it, and you can't even slip a matchbook in there. It is it's crazy. It's crazy to think that we can explain these things away today. I think that some of these structures are way older than what we're being taught. Case in point, let me see if I can pull this up. One of the places that let me pull up my email, because I sent myself a couple of links because I was laughing so hard. There was a Wikipedia link, and in it, scientists were discussing the time frame that one of these antique marvels was built, and I burst out laughing. I freaking burst out laughing. Let's see, is this it? Okay. So yes, we were talking about earlier. I mentioned a place called Tazumal, which is in El Salvador. That's where it is. Tazumal is in El Salvador. So let's look at this. Let's look at this together. Here's where it is. Let me pull this down. This is the area that Tazumal is. Okay? Now, it is kind of unusual that right up here, this is where Chichen Itza is, okay? And Tulum, all right? That's the island of Cozumel off of Mexico. I have been to those places. I was absolutely just freaking astounded. I was astounded by Chichen Itza. There are walls in Chichen Itza where they used to hold the sporting events, and the score was always 1-0 because whoever eventually put the ball in the basket, there was a stone hoop and a rubber ball that you couldn't touch with your hands, and the hoop was like 25 feet in the air, and if they actually got the rubber ball in through the round hoop, whatever sportsman got his reward was he was sacrificed, and they cut his head off and they put his skull on top of the mountain of skulls that were there, and the walls down there, the walls built by these Mayans, the tour guide, when he brought us through there, he said, okay, everyone, I want you to be very quiet, and he said, when I count to 3, I want you to clap your hands. We all clapped our hands one time, and it echoed exactly 7 times and then stopped. How do you create walls that echo exactly 7 times and then stop? What? I found it to be the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. The castle there, I showed you guys a picture of it. It was the one that it's called El Castillo in Chichen Itza, where I showed you guys a photo. I carried my paraplegic buddy to the top of the thing, and we all sat on top of the temple. They won't let you climb it anymore. So I guess I'm lucky. I can say I climbed it back when they still let you do it. Looking at how perfectly they built that in its orientation, so that twice a year at the summer and winter solstice, the body of a snake is made by the shadow of the rounded corners of this temple down a wall with a snake head at the bottom. I mean, these people were geniuses. This is 700 A.D. This is amazing technology to me. But this, where was I going? Where was I going with this? Oh yeah. I wanted to share the history of what modern archaeologists are trying to say. Late pre-classic Mesoamerica, an introduction. So what they're trying to say is that all of the amazing artifacts that we have found, I'll show you one. All the wonderful, beautiful things, the Mayan and Aztec stoneworks that we're finding, unearthing. They're trying to say that these were made somewhere around 400 BCE to 150 CE. How do they know this? How are they able to put a time frame on this? To me, I'm sorry. It just seems like horseshit. It's like they've got to convince people of how smart they are and that they can figure out how to put time frames on the building of these structures all over the world. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Am I alone? Am I alone in my thinking? This is what I want to know. We only have a few minutes left, but I would love to hear from some sailors. I want you to tell me if you think I am out of my mind, or do you think that maybe our historians aren't quite telling us the truth? What's going on here? What is going on? Oh, here we go. Here we go. There we go. Right there. Right there. So feel free to call in and tell me if you think I'm full of it, or should I pay more attention to my history teachers? I think we've got the Texan on the line. Is that you, my brother?
Why in the hell are you torturing me like this tonight?
Why is that? Torturing
my God,
you?
Dude. Oh, my God. You know, this stuff I have studied for decades now, over 20 years.
Yeah.
And man, you have packed so much into one show that is just totally freaking crazy.
Oh, I'm all over the world.
My God, God, you're torturing me, brother.
I want to know why all those different places are exactly 6,666 kilometers from one another. How did that happen?
Well, it's not a coincidence, but I know there's going to be other people wanting to call in, and so can I unpack this real quick? Okay, so you started out the show talking about basically prophecy and stuff like that in the Bible and everything. There are 1,239 prophecies in the Old Testament. There are 578 in the New Testament. There's prophecies. That's 1,817 prophecies. Only 227 are left. You started talking about a generation, the last generation.
Right.
We are in the last generation.
Oh, I agree.
Out of 1,817 prophecies, there's only 227 left. One of the major prophecies that we have seen, is when Trump recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
Yeah.
Okay, and of course, after World War II, Israel getting their country back, their land back, their ancient land back that was written about in the Bible was not a coincidence. That was a prophecy that was fulfilled. And then now we're even to some major prophecies right now, to where like the three red heifers that were bred here in Texas that were a year and a half or almost 2 years ago sent over to Jerusalem for a certain sacrifice.
Yes, I remember reading about that. Yes.
To build the final temple, that is coming true now. I mean, dude, all these prophecies. So you're talking about, the last generation. We are in the last generation. Okay.
Dude, I'm telling you. Yeah.
And a generation by the Bible is 120 years. Okay. So, yeah, I believe we're there on that. I've seen the evidence of that. Okay. Now, let's talk about what you were talking about, these ancient structures and stuff and all that, especially the underwater city off the coast of Cuba. That's even more proof of the Great Flood, okay, and the great earthquakes that were spoken about in the Bible. I mean, I don't understand how people can deny these archaeological facts, and they're scientifically proven facts.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Dude, there's scientists out there who said it's just not possible that tectonic plates could slide and have a perfect city like that just disappear underwater. I beg to differ. There it fucking is for all your eyes to see if you got a scuba tank.
Let me say this. 97% of scientists agree with the ones who are paying them to say what they agree with. I mean,
I hear you.
And as far as this technology goes, man, I've delved deep into this over many years now. What they want to suppress, the information they want to suppress, is that all these huge monoliths and those great stones and blocks that you were showing, when you take a closer look and you examine them, it's a proven fact. There are machine cuts in some of these. You can see.
Oh, yeah.
You can see the machine cuts. And there's even some where they made mistakes where the machine got off kilter and then they stopped it and they left it.
I have it. I have that very picture that you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. And so there was a greater technology. That's why God had to destroy the planet with a great flood. Okay, because they were engineered biogenetics and stuff going on. Why do you think you see these depictions of pharaohs and everything that are half fish, half man, half bird, half man?
Yes.
Okay, and all that. That's because they were doing what we are doing today and sinning against God. Okay, Baal. You talked about Baal.
Right.
The depiction of Baal, and Moloch is a hermaphrodite that's half woman, half man.
Yeah.
Breasts of a woman and, the junk of a man.
Yeah.
And these bioengineered stuff was going on way before, and it was a sin against God. So God had enough of it. We can go to the fallen angels and information and technology that we were not supposed to have. We were corrupted. God destroyed the planet, and we started started over again, and we were not to understand this technology, but now here we are.
Right.
Look what's happening in our society. It all just falls right in line like dominoes, dude.
Dude, I agree. I'm just wondering if there might have been an even greater civilization prior to this one that harnessed that technology and shared it worldwide, because things like, I mean, the pyramids, to me, they're way older than what they say they are. I mean, I think they were built eons ago.
So I'm going to disagree with you on that, because I have seen astronomers. Okay, now look, dude, you have unpacked you've laid out so much tonight. Like, you can take the heavens, okay, signs in the heavens, like you were talking about at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
You can literally map them, which they've been doing for a long time now, and roll them back. Okay, and it goes back to almost exactly 10,000 years ago. The stars and the planets line up with the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx. So there are scientists that believe, and astronomers that believe, the planet is at least 10,000 years old. This planet is not billions of years old. It's not millions of years old. The Bible even tells us that. And
right.
The Sphinx itself, like you, oh my God, like I said, you're torturing the hell out of me. The Sphinx itself, you mentioned it, and the water damage on it. Yes, that was a lush, a fertile land out there at one time. Okay, lots of rain and everything. But if you look at the Sphinx, the head don't match. The body is of a lion, and the head is of a pharaoh.
Right.
With all this great technology and how they built everything so precise, like you said, you can't even slide a piece of paper between the stones.
Yeah.
How would they make a mistake to make the head of the pharaoh that didn't match the lion, that the head is way smaller? They don't make those kind of mistakes.
Well, I mean, if it was at the time where, when they were, dude, I mean, Thoth had the body of a man and the head of a bird. And he was the one who supposedly, the fallen angel, who gave us writing, and there are so many examples in history of what are they doing now with they're taking DNA and mixing it. It started out with the cloning of that sheep, 30 years ago.
Dolly.
Right. Yeah. Right. And now they're trying to mix humans and pigs, and I mean, it's some of the shit is hard to believe, but I'm sure that they're doing this crap. I'm most certain that some sick guys are out there trying to mate a pig and a human and see what
brother.
Oh man.
Brother. Satan is still at work. There's nothing new under the sun.
No.
And the truth is in the Bible. And
agreed.
It's been laid out. Like I said, you started out, and then I was talking about the prophecies that have come true and cannot be denied, and that there's only 227 left. Okay, these are factual. You can check them out, and I even gave Trump as an example, and you can check them all out. But yeah, that is the reason why God destroyed mankind to begin with. And people talk about, the earth is going to be destroyed. God destroyed the earth in the Old Testament. No, he didn't destroy the earth. He destroyed his creation, okay, and gave it a fresh start. And I see that out there, as in the days of Noah. That is exactly where we're at today. That's why they are castrating little boys. That's why they're trying to make little girls boys. That's why men are competing in women's sports. It's all satanic, and there's nothing new under the sun, Hoss.
Dude, I am in complete agreement with you there. We are these are the, as in the days of Noah. That is exactly where we are now, man. We got to be close to the end times. We have to be.
I'm going to jump off here, but I want to make one more point, if you don't mind.
Do it. Do it.
Hold up your cup of grog, if you would, sir. You put whatever liquids you put in there, and
Yeah.
you put ice in there, correct?
Yeah.
You fill it up to the very, very top to where it's almost going to overflow, right?
Right.
When the ice melts, does that cup overflow?
Of course not.
No more than if the North Pole melts, it's going to, make the oceans rise
Right.
and flood the continents. That's not going
Right.
to happen.
Right.
Displacement. So anyway.
Yes, I agree with you there. The only thing that makes sense is that tectonic plates must have sunk in order for those cities to become buried. The scientist who's out there saying, "Oh no, it's sea levels have risen and all." That's what caused these. Man, I have to call BS on that one. It's just
if that was true, no bank in the world would issue a loan for beachside property like they're doing right now. Trump
Yeah.
wouldn't have got a loan for Mar-a-Lago. Obama wouldn't have got a loan for his beachfront property because it would be uninsurable, because what they're saying is it won't be there in 10 years.
it'll be underwater.
The banks, the big money out there knows it's going to be there.
I know. We all know it. We all know it, dude. It's freaking horse shit. Oh, it's enough to
All right,
drive
brother.
you crazy.
My rant is done. Let the hell out of you, and I'm going to step off here and let somebody else call in.
Hey, well, I'll be seeing you on Friday night.
Hang on. I will get in touch with you on that. I've got a driving test to do tomorrow. I had a great interview today. Got a driving test to do tomorrow, and they're going to try to push my stuff through as fast as possible for this new job.
Well,
And and we'll see. But right now, yes, sir. We are
Okay.
on for the big show on Friday night, but I can't.
subject to
guarantee it.
change. Okay. Keep me
mail it
posted. Keep me posted, and we'll go from there.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. God bless each and every one of you. And I'm the Texan. I'll see you down the road.
We'll see you, buddy. My dear brother, the Texan, right there. Yeah, I mean, if you are a God-fearing Christian, and that's the thing, we weren't there back then. That technology might have been from the fallen angels before the flood. Just maybe. Due diligence. How are you doing, my man?
With tonight, oh my gosh.
I realize I've been all over the place, but there's so many different things that just make me scratch my freaking head, because it just doesn't jive with what they're trying to sell us.
No, that's fair enough. That's absolutely fair enough. And history truly has been hidden from us.
Oh,
There was two places on this entire planet that all that ancient technology, which was all written down, how they did it, what they did, everything. It was all written down.
and got
First
destroyed.
Nope. There's another copy.
Well, under the Vatican?
Yes.
Yeah. The Athens burned to the ground. So Alexandria burned to the ground.
Yep. Library of Alexandria burned to the ground.
Yeah.
Vatican
Yes.
got a hold of all that beforehand.
Man,
There you go.
it'd be
Now, I did give you, I gifted a cookie, and I gave you a link.
okay. I'll have to let me look for it.
By all means, show everybody. I've already seen it.
Okay.
And you'd be surprised by that one.
There's the link right there. I see it. See it. Okay. 1 second.
Funny how this stuff works. So you know those big blocks that you were talking about in the beginning?
Yes. I mean, dude. Big? I'm talking enormous. Yeah.
Watch the. Show
Oh, yeah.
everybody that link real quick.
Indeed, I am. It's let me go to full size here. Oh yeah. Let's put this right here. Run with me right there. Whoa! I gotta adjust the screen. Okay,
Not a problem.
there it is. There it is.
Don't necessarily have to play the sound because I don't know what's going to happen to. I don't know what's going to happen, but I would suggest everybody grab that link, honestly,
Yeah.
and take a look.
Look at the
Look for
levitation.
yourselves.
Yeah.
Frequencies.
Frequency, baby.
Now, you also remember how you mentioned the ley lines?
Yes.
Ley lines are everywhere. Believe it or not, those evil people decided to start capping them at the exit points of the well, how about this? We'll just call it the crust.
Okay.
Case in point, the Georgia Guidestones. That was a cap.
Oh, yeah.
Happened to that cap not too long ago.
Happy to see that go away. Happy to see that one get destroyed.
Mm-hmm. The other caps are still there, at least from what I know. Still digging into that one. But the Georgia Guidestones was one of the major ones because there's a major ley line intersection right there. Right where those Georgia Guidestones were put.
Really?
Yep.
Where did you find this?
It was a collaboration between G.I. Wingnut and myself.
I'll be danged.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to be looking into that one.
It's interesting, but the Earth puts out so much energy. Now, you remember how you were mentioning the pyramids?
Oh yeah.
Pyramids are all aligned.
Around the whole Earth. There's
Yes.
a whole I mean, there are like mountains that have been grown over now with trees, but if they strip them down, you can definitely see there is a freaking pyramid there. You know.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
The problem is you don't have to strip them down for them to work. What they are energy, for lack of better terminology, they produce energy, free energy, for the entire world.
Man.
And it doesn't matter where they're located. It could be the Great Pyramids of Giza. It could be the pyramids in Machu Picchu. It could be the pyramids here in America. It could be the pyramids that are underwater. They all
Yes.
produce energy. They're energy generators. I've been looking into this one, and I've been like, what the Hello Kitty is this?
It is wild. It is wild. It just what drives me crazy is the untruthfulness, the lack of truth, the lack of why
That's
don't
the
they?
problem.
Yeah,
That's the biggest problem.
man.
Because if we remember our biblical history, God came first.
Yeah,
He spoke the word. Everything came into being.
yeah,
He created Lucifer, the most beautiful cherubim ever.
yep.
And then all of a sudden, what? A third of the angels fell because of him?
It went to his head.
Yep, went to his head. He took it all. He took all that knowledge. All that knowledge was written down. The Vatican had it. Had. Not has. Had it.
Interesting. Most
Yeah.
interesting.
This, oof.
Yeah.
If what I'm seeing is correct, the next couple of years is going to be real crazy because we're going to be finding out a lot about this stuff.
Dude, I am telling you, I'm looking forward to the day when I finally learn what has really happened, what really freaking happened here, you know, and that that woman who appeared on Quite Frankly, who said for the brief moment she spent on the other side with God, he allowed her to know all truths, and man, I'm fascinated by that. Fascinated by that stuff.
Now, well, nobody has to believe me. Just go do the research. That's the truth I just gave. Literally. Matter of fact, you remember those old ancient cathedrals and everything else like that?
Yeah.
Those the buildings that you were talking about in the beginning?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what the one problem is?
What's that?
They took the air-powered organs out of them.
Yes.
Those were not. Those literally All those buildings were literally healing centers for all humanity.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
No, it was the music that was played. It was the structure that was built. How do I put this? Because I know some people are not going to get it. Some people are going to call me, oh yeah, you're a liar. I don't care 2.5 squirts of piss about that.
Yeah.
The problem is, if you don't truly look into history, and I'm glad you did this one tonight, so I might go a little bit long on this phone call, but you know me, I like to keep them short. But the thing is, all of those ancient buildings, like let's say the Cathedral of Notre Dame,
Right.
originally that was a temple built towards God. Well, some evil people got involved with the building of that one, and they turned it evil. So when it burned, why do you think there was white smoke instead of black smoke like the...
Very
like,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, when Notre Dame burned down that 2 summers ago.
few summers ago, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll put it that way.
Wow. That was, yeah.
There's, and I'm glad you, like I said, I'm glad you touched on this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff that I dig into, and obviously I go all over the place. Pyramids. The pyramids are everywhere, and they're not just stone. They're crystalline. Some of them are crystalline.
Wow.
Yeah, and some of these crystalline ones are submerged in, whether it's the Pacific, the Atlantic, doesn't matter. The Caribbean Ocean, the Indian Ocean, it doesn't matter. They're everywhere. They're all over the place. There's a reason for them. And that reason, at least from what I've been able to gather so far, and it's still going to take me probably about another 3 or 4 years to figure all this one out. Because that's a lot of research.
Yeah.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, this earth that we live on, it's the most unique, again, for lack of better terminology, it's the most unique planet ever.
Amen. If it is indeed a planet.
That right there is up for question.
That's one of the first questions I'm asking him is what was it that I was living on?
Well, actually, the biggest thing is this. Instead of looking at it in that particular manner, because obviously we know NASA stands for never a straight answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
What we should be looking at now is all of the knowable history that we have and the stuff that we can all dig up. Yes, that includes a bunch of people that don't like me. I really don't care. You don't have to believe me. Just do the research. They know who they are. But I'm going to put it this way. I did the research, and I'm finding all this stuff out.
Yeah.
I mean, the Library of Alexandria was burned down because the bad guys honestly wanted to portray themselves as saying, oh, yeah, that was the only place to know this knowledge. No. They made copies of everything.
You would think that they had to have, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they didn't have Gestetners, but Xerox machines, but yeah.
They had scribes. They had hundreds of thousands of scribes.
That's what I'm saying. There's always a way of, and dude, I mean, if they had that great technology, why does it have to be a guy with a chisel and a freaking hammer? Why? Maybe they had the technology of printing way before,
Exactly. And I'm sorry, but a copper chisel on a freaking piece of granite? Yeah, good luck. I'm sorry, that don't work.
I know. These are the things that just make me belly laugh, dude. When they explain how the slaves built the pyramids, it makes me belly laugh, man. It just makes me laugh.
Honestly, every single last pyramid upon this planet was built with those, even with the massive blocks, even if they weren't as massive as some of the other ones. They were all moved by frequency. Look at that link that I donated a cookie to Zosudu. Everybody, look at that link.
Yeah.
You can take a big plate-style rock with a bunch of other rocks on top of it, play a certain frequency, and the doggone rock levitates?
Yeah.
Hey, guess what?
That's some wild shit right there.
Scientists have been trying to do this for a long time, trying to show you bits and pieces of our actual history.
Amen.
But honestly, Zosudu, I'm going to tell you, and I'm probably going to end this phone call with this right here. But honestly, we humans are the apple of God's eye.
Amen.
He created us, not anything else that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, that's a whole other monster.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even want to get into that. But he created us in his image. He lives within us, so that makes us part of him. And what did Jesus say? I'm going to call him by his actual name. What did Yeshua say?
Yeshua, right.
You will be capable of far more than I could ever do. Did he not?
That's exactly, yeah. If you only believe, you could pick that mountain up and cast it into the sea. Yeah.
You could create pyramids. You could create energy fields. You could create anything.
If you believe.
Anything.
If you believe. Amen,
No.
brother.
All you have to have is the faith of a simple mustard seed. That's all you need. The only thing you need to learn how to do now
Is believe it.
I don't know. Not only that, but you have to learn how to use it.
Oh, yeah. I think it goes hand in hand.
Exactly.
Yeah. Believe that you have that power. Right.
But
man, I do appreciate the call. I appreciate it more than anything.
Yeah, but I have a feeling it's time for us to head back to pier and tie up.
We gotta aim for the bay. Yeah. In fact, I'm running a little over.
That's fair enough with me. I apologize for being so long on this one, but I just gave a glimpse of some of the information that I know, that I truly learned, and I'm just like, wow. And because of what you did tonight with history, I felt compelled to do so.
Thank you kindly, my good man. I do appreciate it very much. Very much.
Yeah. And next time I see you, I got some bison and Wagyu sausage waiting for you.
Dude, I just got Peggy home tonight. She's itching to roar, and so am I.
I don't doubt it. All right, brother. I love you.
Love you, my man.
Matter of fact, everybody else there in the chat, I love you all. Yes, including the people that don't like me. I love you all. But you all have a great evening. I'm going to go ahead jump back into some of the research that I'm doing.
Very good.
And we'll call it a night.
Be good, my brother. Thank you kindly.
You got it.
We'll talk to you soon.
Love you. Love you, Zoso.
Love you, my friend. Double D.
Right.
My buddy Double D checking out right there. Due diligence right there. All right, folks. I have released the scratching over at Pilled Foxhole. Go and get you some gold pills. Go and get you some gold pills. The other day I saw somebody who didn't know how to do it. And it's just a simple matter of scratching off your lottery ticket. I hope you get it. I hope you figure it out. Congratulations over here at D Live. TL Spud bringing home the bacon right there. Lieutenant Cooker right on his heels. Black Cat, congratulations. Val Kimber right there. And Jayla on the board. Good to see all of you guys. PK says, check out my YouTube. No, Deplorable Thora says, check out my YouTube channel. Zesty Animal at Z. I'm just going to drop that link, little lady. I'm going to drop that link all over the place. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Control C. I'm going to drop it on my other link, my other channels. Control V. Bingo. Over to the YouTubers. Control V. Boom. That is Zesty Animals' YouTube channel. Go and check it out. Give her a subscription. Tell her Zoe sent you. All right, folks, we're going to boogie it on out of here. It is time to rumble. Thank you all for hanging out tonight. It has been my pleasure to spend some time with you. It really has. It truly, truly has. Have a great rest of your week. I'll try to keep you posted on what's going on with, it looks like I may or may not be doing a show with the Texan on Friday. If not, you will see me right here, right freaking here on Friday night, which is where I belong. Love you all. Take care, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. Let's send her on down the road the right way, looking at the sailors. Looking at the sailors.